Hello students, this is another highly significant topic under basic concepts of chemistry, and that is empirical formula and molecular formula. Let us see the difference between these two. Empirical formula, that will be representing the simplest ratio of atoms of the element in a molecule, and molecular formula, that will be representing the actual ratio of atoms of element in a molecule. Let us see an example where glucose, the molecular formula of it is C6H12O6. So when you simplify, or if you consider the ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in the molecule, which is 6:12:6. Simplify the ratio, which is 1:2:1, and that is termed as empirical formula ratio. And this ratio, when you use to write the formula of the compound, that is empirical formula of the compound, and that is nothing but C1H2O1, which is the simplest ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in the compound. And the mass of it, you will be able to find it as 30U, because 12 is the atomic mass of carbon, 12 plus 2 hydrogen, so 2 plus 16, which is 30U, that is the empirical formula mass of glucose. The molecular mass, that will be representing the actual ratio of each of the atom in the compound, where it is 6:12:6, and the molecular formula of it will be C6H12O6, which will be representing the actual number of atoms in the compound, and the mass of it, that is the molecular mass of the compound glucose, is found to be 180U. Here we'll be able to see N. N here is not representing the number of moles, that we should keep in our mind. N here is the ratio of molecular mass to the empirical mass. So when you take the ratio of molecular mass to empirical mass, that gives us N. And what is the relationship of all these three? Okay, molecular formula of a compound will be the product of N, what you have calculated here, with empirical formula. So empirical formula, when you multiply with N, the ratio what you have taken here, will be getting the molecular formula. Let us have a check now. In glucose, N will be equal to the molecular mass of glucose divided by empirical mass of it. And we have already calculated the molecular mass of glucose as 180U, and empirical mass is 30U. So 180 by 30 will be equal to 6. N is equal to 6 for glucose, and the molecular formula of it will be C6H12O6, and that is nothing but the empirical formula CH2O multiplied by 6. So remember this concept, and it is a very important topic in basic concepts of chemistry. Yes children, here is a question from NCERT book and related to empirical formula and molecular formula. So let us find the empirical formula and molecular formula of the compound, where the percentage composition of the compound is given. It is given that the compound contains 4.07% of hydrogen, 24.27% of carbon, and 71.62% of chlorine. So it is very easy to convert as percentage mass is given, where we consider the entire mass of the compound as 100 gram. So it is easy for us to convert this percentage into gram. So that is our first step. You're going to convert the mass percentage into gram. So we'll consider 4.07% of hydrogen as 4.07 gram of it, 24.27% of carbon as 24.27 gram of carbon, and 71.62% of chlorine as 71.62 gram of chlorine. So masses are given in grams, where the second step is to calculate the number of moles present. So number of moles of hydrogen, given mass of hydrogen divided by its molar mass, where the mass is 4.07 divided by 1.008, that is its molar mass, where we are getting the number of moles is 4. And moles of carbon will be given mass 24.27 divided by 12, exact mass is 12.01, where we are getting the number of mole is 2.02. You can take it as 2. And the number of moles of chlorine, it is given mass 71.65 divided by the molar mass, or the atomic mass of chlorine is 35.45 gram. Now you are getting the number of mole as 2.02. Now the third step is divide the all the number of moles with the simplest moles what you obtain. So 2.02 is the smallest number of mole. So all these number of moles can be divided by that too in order to get the simplest ratio of it. So when you divide 4.04 divided by 2.02, you will be getting it as 2, the other one as 1, and the third one is also as 1. So the ratio of hydrogen to carbon is to chlorine will be 2:1:1. And if you are putting it in the increasing order of electronegativity, carbon will come first. So the ratio of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen can be taken as 1:2:1. And the empirical formula can be written as CH2Cl because hydrogen is 2 in number, carbon 1 and chlorine as 1. If you calculate the empirical formula mass as 12 plus 2 plus 35.5 because that is the atomic mass of each of that. When you sum up, you will be getting the empirical formula mass of it, and that is equal to 49.48. So you were able to calculate the empirical formula mass as 49.48 by using its empirical formula. Now the last task, as we got empirical formula as per the question, it is now to calculate the molecular formula of, where we know N is equal to molecular formula mass divided by empirical formula mass, and N will help us to find out the molecular formula of the compound. So as the molecular mass of the compound is given here in the question is 98.96 gram, you can divide that by the empirical formula mass which is 49.48, that gives N, okay, because N is the ratio of molecular mass to empirical formula mass. So molecular mass 98.96 divided by 49.48 will be equal to 2. Multiply 2 with the empirical formula, that gives the molecular formula. So the empirical formula is CH2Cl, multiply that by 2, you will be getting the molecular formula as C2H4Cl2. Hope the concept is very clear. So empirical formula will give us the simplest ratio of all the atoms in the compound, where the molecular formula will be representing the actual ratio of all the atoms in the molecule.